Hi, and welcome to the second episode of It's Mandy. Thank you for joining me today. I want to touch on a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. We're going to dive into understanding if you're really winning in life and what winning in your life really looks like. If you're not winning in life, you're not clear on who you are. Let me say that again. If you're not winning in life, you're not clear on who you are. I found myself in this situation about 4.5 years ago, and while I've become successful in corporate America, I still felt like there was something missing in my life. There was something that I wasn't hitting all cylinders on. If you're listening to this podcast, this may be you, because I found it very important to share my story about this, because I know that there are so many other women out there just like me going through the same exact thing, and you're out there running a race that you were never designed to run. Let me say that again. 90% of people are running a race that they were never meant to be in. And if that's you, I want you to listen up, because you have the ability to change that. Like I had the ability to change it. I took responsibility over my own life and decided to learn new skills, learn how to really sell, learn how to communicate, learn how to love, learn how to build relationships, learn how to find my people. I didn't know how to do any of this before I really dove in and started learning personal development. I started understanding that, once I started learning more about myself, I started diving into personal development and self-help books and podcasts and all these things. I learned that I was really the only one getting in my own way. And majority of people, it's the same exact situation. It's the same story that you may be, going through yourself. And understanding that, we get in our own ways majority of the time. And the reason we do that is because there's so many distractions, there's so much noise, there's so much chatter in the background. Whether there is, social media, obviously we know is a distraction. A lot of people get on social media and go down the scroll hole, and they get lost in social, and they start comparing themselves. They start judging. And if you find yourself guilty of this at times, understand that when you start comparing yourself with others, it's the thief of your joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. We get distracted in our own rat race sometimes. It's hard for, a mom that has, that's taking care of a family of 4 to really break out of that cycle. She has a full-time career that she's trying to build. She comes home in the evenings and she has a family to provide for, to cook for, to nurture. And I'm not saying that that's a distraction, but that's just, it is part of life, right? So a lot of times we get caught in this cycle, in these patterns over and over and over. That's why people get stuck on what we call this hamster wheel. And when you get stuck on this hamster wheel, it's like you're just going round and round and round, and it's just a pattern that's just building over time, and you know nothing else but that pattern. That's all you know. You're programming your mind to be in this pattern. Our brain and our bodies respond to patterns. We react more to patterns. That's why it's so hard to break outside the box or outside of this hamster wheel, to do something new, to decide that you're going to change your life for the better. And I had the courage, I had the bravery to jump out of that hamster wheel, to explore new areas of opportunity, to understand that there's opportunity out there around each and every one of us every single day. There's endless opportunity out there for everyone. But everyone's caught in this hamster wheel. We're caught in this patterns, this cycles of patterns over and over and over again, to where we don't know anything other than to stay in that pattern. So, I'm here to tell you that You have the ability to break that cycle. You have the ability to break those patterns. You've got to understand that you have more desires over your life, that you have more respect for your life to change. And I'm here to tell you, it's not easy. It is not easy by any means. I'm not trying to make this sound like this is, some glorious story. There was a lot of pain that I had to go through in order to unlearn, to start learning again. And there was, some self-reflection that I had to do, that I noticed that those were the things that kept holding me back. So diving into personal development, diving into personal growth, self-help books, podcasts from people that I admired, that I respected, or I was introduced to by other people, really helped me break that cycle. And you have the same ability to do that. And, breaking the cycle isn't just easy to do through podcasts and self-help books. You have to have the right people around you. You have to have the right people around you in order to push you, to pour into you, to make you understand that there's more to this thing called life than what you actually see it as. So it's very important to find your people. Great people who don't accept your mediocrity make you greater. People that don't accept your mediocrity make you better. So find your tribe, find your people. People who love God remind you to trust in Him in all your decisions. People who love God remind you to trust Him in all your decisions. And I'm not here to rant over religion or to impose my beliefs and values on you, but the doors of opportunity, the miracle territories for me opened when I established a relationship with God. I was raised up in the church. Every time the doors of the church were open, I was there. Whether it was Wednesday nights, Sunday mornings, and Sunday evenings, I was there because my parents made it mandatory for me to be there. Unfortunately, during my childhood, all the way up till I was 20 years young, I never knew God the way I know God now. And if you don't believe in a higher power, then you're really missing the key to life. You're really missing the key to life here. The knowledge I've gained over time, I've understood that I wanted to take my story mainstream. I wanted to share to the world my story. I wanted to share to the world who Mindy Smith is. I have a story to tell. My steps have been ordered. I have a divine assignment in my life that God has laid on me. You have a divine assignment. Your steps have already been ordered. Have you figured out what those steps are? Have you figured out what your purpose is to lead you to the right path so you can take the proper steps? That's the key to success. That's the key to fulfillment and peace and happiness and joy in your life. But you got to take the initiative to discover that. You got to take the initiative to uncover those things inside of you. You've got to take that initiative to uncover the desires of your heart. I didn't know what my desires of my heart truly was before I started personally developing, before I started surrounding myself with the right people, before I started understanding that I'm empowered, that I am happy. Own your story before it owns you. You have the ability to create and write your own story. So own it. Own your story. Your story is your identity. Your story is who you are. Your story is your uniqueness deep down inside. So don't ignore that. Don't ignore your story. Your pain from your past isn't your prison. It's your passport. Your pain from your past isn't your prison. It's your passport. There is intelligence in your pain. I'm here to tell you, there is intelligence, there is understanding, there is meaning, there is the joy, happiness, peace, all of that behind your pain, I assure you. I'm a walking testament of that. So I encourage you to uncover that, to discover that part of you. The reason that maybe you haven't moved yet, maybe you haven't had something really pull you and gravitate you to that next step or that next chapter in your life is because you haven't given yourself permission to do it. You haven't given your permission to do that. And will you give yourself permission to win in this thing called life? Most people are so distracted by the noise, the chatter. So don't let that be you. Own your story. Uncover what your divine assignment is. Uncover what your purpose is here on this earth. And one thing I'll say in closing here is, what are you willing to let go? What are you willing to let go to get to that next step in your life? Are you willing to let go of happy hour every Wednesday night, your girlfriends, to maybe go to a Bible study, or maybe go to a therapist, maybe start talking to someone, maybe you use, carve out 30 minutes to an hour of your morning routines to read 10 pages a day of a self-help book or a personal development book. Maybe in the car, you let go of listening to your favorite XM radio station. Maybe you plug in the latest and greatest podcast of Ed Milet. Or maybe you listen to Lisa Nichols. There are many options out there that you can pursue. Everybody wants to become better. Everybody wants to make more money. But what are you doing to uncover that? What are you doing to get to that next step? To make more money and to become a better human in life. Ideas are common, but action is rare. I can give you all these ideas all day long for you to take action on and get to it and create that path that you want to create for yourself. I can give you all these ideas, but it means nothing unless you take action. Action is the antidote of despair. You may be in a position where you feel like you're trapped and you can't get out. Maybe you feel like you're in your own prison and you don't know how to break free. But taking action, having courage, and being brave enough to step up and say, you know what? I deserve this. I demand this for my life. And watch how the doors of opportunity open for you. So don't be scared. Fear holds people back every single time. So don't let that be you. Get clear on who you are and watch the doors open for you. Thanks for joining me on my second episode of It's Mandy.